John Lennon, who was a steadfast opponent of the war, here are some of the reasons why he and the Beatles are still important, including his final song. John Lennon was the only member of the Beatles who did not shy away from taking a stand on controversial political subjects. As he expressed in the song Revolution, he was fiercely opposed to the Vietnam War. Nevertheless, he was also wary of violent protesters and the strategies that they employed. You say that you want a revolution. Well, you know that we all want to change the world, yet, when you talk about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out in? You can count on everyone else to want to change the world. He took part in bed-ins for peace alongside Yoko, which lasted for an entire week and took place in Amsterdam and Montreal respectively. Imagine is one of his most well-known songs, and in it, he implores people all around the world to stop fighting and to imagine a better future. Imagine there are no nations on earth. Doing this shouldn't be that challenging. There is nothing in this world that is worth murdering or dying for, and there is no religion either. Imagine that everyone in the world is living a contented and worry-free life. Not to mention the fact that he is the author of the book, Give Peace a Chance. Paul McCartney had political opinions, although he only alluded to them in a few of his songs here and there. For instance, the allegory Blackbird is about the struggles for civil rights in the United States of America, but it does so in a very understated way. The reason I bring this up, as you probably already are aware, is that the final Beatles song, which is based on the lyrics and piano playing of John Lennon, is being published today. John Lennon recorded the song Now and Then onto a cassette tape a few years before he tragically is away in 1980. The song was released after the artist had passed away. On the label of the cassette was the word For Paul. Yoko Ono handed it up to Paul McCartney in 1994 and the year was 1994. The three Beatles who were still alive at the time were able to record and release two songs that were based on the cassette. The songs that were made available were Free as a Bird and Real Love, both of which I felt were fantastic. Real Love was one of the tunes. On the third song, they attempted to do it, but the quality was just too bad for it to work. George Harrison thought that it was worthless rubbish. And it wasn't brought back to life until very recently, when the technology that producer Peter Jackson was utilizing made it possible to isolate the vocals from the rest of the track. McCartney stated that he could hear John very clearly and that his voice sounded very loud. It makes a lot of people feel different things. This is a genuine recording of the Beatles, with all of us playing various instruments on it. To still be working on Beatles music in 2023 and to be on the verge of releasing a new song that the public hasn't heard before is something that I think to be extremely exciting. That is a terribly inadequate representation of the situation. Ringo Starr indicated that it was the closest we'll ever come to having him back in the room, so needless to say, it was an extraordinarily emotional time for all of us. Ringo Starr stated that it was the closest we'll ever come to having him back in the room. If you get my meaning, it was as if John had been present the whole time. It is in the middle of nowhere. In addition, quite cool. I just saw a little bit of it yesterday while I was watching a documentary on YouTube, but what I did here made an optimistic effect on me. To begin, there was John's vocal, which was commanding, resonant, and so instantly recognizably tragic. Following that, Paul and Ringo added their contributions of bass and drums, as well as an amplified version of George's guitar solo.